Stand by, guys. We're about to go ahead and do this real quick. Just getting it set up. This is my first time doing this in a long time. So we're just gonna get this thing going. Turn this bad boy on. All right. Let's get that standing back a little bit here. Don't mind the stuff here. This is one of our little lives. I want to show you some stuff here. Get this going. All right. We'll turn that light too. Okay, that's a little bit better here. So I hope everyone likes this. We're about to move some stuff out the way. Move a little wagon out the way. Yes, that was a little wagon. I'm gonna move this bike out the way. So guys, I hope you're doing well. We're about to start the show here. This is one of our first lives where I'm gonna actually get up on the board and talk about some things about what's going on with Russia right now. Because to me, it's gonna affect a lot of things that's about to go down. And I want to talk to you about this. So stay tuned, don't go nowhere, let's get started. All right, guys. Hope that y'all are doing well. We'll do something here shortly here. And we're just gonna talk about Russia. That's the whole thing that we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about the things that's going on with Russia and whatnot. So this is my first time setting up, so please bear in mind. We're gonna get this going. Gonna get the camera, get this a little bit closer. So y'all can see everything on the board here. So for the guys out there, go ahead and let people know that we're about to go down and talk about what's going on with Russia. And I'm gonna get this camera set up slightly better. I don't know why it looks crooked here, but I think we're straight here. We're gonna talk about it, we're about to get in depth. We're gonna talk about the whole situation with Russia defaulting on the debt. Now, how does it come into play with your money involved? So with Russia going into debt, or I won't say debt, defaulting on debt, a lot of people hyping it up, right? They're saying, hey, that's a lot of money going out there. It's gonna go crazy, end of the world, things like that. Not necessarily. A few years ago, the United States defaulted on their debt and we lost a credit rating, right? We had a credit rating that dropped down. A lot of people forget about that. It happened not too long ago. With the situation with Russia, not necessarily. Let's talk about what led to that, right? So a lot of people say Ukraine war, Ukraine war. It's not just that, it's that the United States put sanctions on Russia because of the war. And what that did, it ran, basically sanctions going like this, right? Without the sanction, let's say you got money, right? You have money, right? You have money. And that money goes to one place, it goes to your country, right? Country, C for country. And then if you take that money out and you put it into, let's say, rubles, right? So you're taking that dollar, you're taking it into your country and converting it back, right? Or you're paying your bills, right? You're paying your bills back into this, right? So forth. Now y'all might think I'm crazy, but let's hear me out. With the sanction going into place, United States did a few things. They basically cut them off from their shore-based accounts for the United States, right? So anything that they got money tied into the United States, got cut off, right? The second thing that you got to think about too is that they have bills just like the United States has bills. Governments have to pay bills and stuff. Instead of you trying to get that money, that pot of money that you have, imagine you have a bank account. And you have different accounts. That pot of money is your main gist of your money, right? You can't get to it. The reason why you can't get to it is because it's been frozen. So now you got to figure out how ways to do it. And some of the things that Russia has been doing has been going to accounts that the United States don't have access to. So you have Swiss accounts, you got the Cayman Islands, you have those things too. You have China. China is another player that's working with Russia to help them with their currency situation. So you got China coming into play. China's coming in here. They say, hey, you don't need to mess with the dollar. You can do something with my currency. So that's coming into play, all right? And that's what they're doing. That money is going into Russia. Now, is it all of it? It's not all of it. The thing with Russia is that they were supposed to pay this stuff off on Sunday. They had a 30-day grace period. And with that 30-day grace period, it led to them skipping out on it. Now, the immediate impact, there's no immediate impact for them, right? A lot of people are like, oh no, it's in the world, It's not. Right now, Russia don't care. I could tell you that right now. Just like the United States didn't care when we got the credit rating down. They know that right now it's temporary. A lot of people were trying to push them out where they're saying, you know what, we want you to go ahead and default. But you got to let's think about what Russia has that a lot of people crave for. Let's talk about what they have. They have resources. They have gas, right? What's going on right now with the world? And I'm not talking about just the United States. I was looking at India. I was looking at Bangladesh. I was looking at all these places in the world. And right now, people are craving to get that fuel. Russia has the fuel. Europe needs the fuel. What this is kind of like is like a Mexican drawdown, if you would say, where everyone's got a gun on someone, and it's not a win-win situation. With Russia, if they would continue to do this, a lot of stuff would be cut off to them. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that they're just going to be, oh, well, it's over, because they still have a war that's going on, right? That war's been going on for 5 months. And the situation behind that is that if it's going on for 5 months, a lot of people are like, what's the end game? The end game, what they want to have is to actually control Ukraine. They want to take Ukraine off the playing list with NATO. What it means economically is that Ukraine has a lot of resources in their ground. They have uranium, they have titanium, they have precious other metals that they have in the ground that you don't hear them talk about in the news, okay? What Russia will more likely do is go ahead and go through other means to get their money, continue to doing it. With China, they don't talk about that in the news. With North Korea, with other countries that are not aligned with NATO or the United States. What it really distracts from is the situation with the United States right now. Like I was telling people the other day, interest rates went up. And what does that mean? What is the big impact? What's the so what to it? The big impact behind that is that with the United States having interest rates go up, the normal loan amount that you might have been paying of interest rate might have been 3% for that house. Now you're looking at 6, maybe 7%. With you trying to use your credit cards with variable interest rates, that goes up. What it does, it curbs the appetite of spending. Let's be honest with you. So those large investments that you're trying to buy, the large items that you're trying to buy, it curbs. But it's a dangerous road between I'm trying to be on a diet or I'm trying to starve myself to death. And let me reiterate that. With that in mind is that you don't want to increase the interest rate way too high where people can't borrow money without facing this high interest loan. The banks, how they do it is that they get money from the Federal Reserve. They get it from the Federal Reserve, right? They take that money from the Federal Reserve. Once they take it from the Federal Reserve, they turn around and put it in their banks, right? Because the Federal Reserve is going to charge them a percentage. They're going to charge them a percentage, right? The bank is in it to make money. That's what banks do. So what they do in return is loan that money out to consumers, right? For a higher percentage. With that in mind, the whole deal is we got to get the right people. So they charge a higher interest rate, but they're only going to give it out to a few people. Therefore, when it's time for them to pay those folks back, they get their cut, and the Federal Reserve gets their money back with their cut, okay? It's all about a money game here. If you haven't already, you need to go ahead. If you're a business person, you need to go ahead and start looking into getting loans while you can. Looking to get into any federal programs that you have right now, because I'm telling you right now, with the interest rate going up the way it is, this is not going to be the last time that they do this. Curbing the appetite of the American citizen is about to take place, right? You got the holidays that's going to be coming down. I'm not talking about July 4th, I'm talking about Christmas. They're going to do another curve, I anticipate, by the end of the year. And the reason being that they got to see how this is going to take. Kind of like you taking medicine. They got to see how long it is going to be before the changes take place. And if they're in the right adjustment. It's basically you shifting if this was a rudder, like in the Navy terms, and you trying to put in 1 degree, 2 degree increments, you're not going to really see much. But if I'm putting up like 10, 15 degrees and I'm going at a certain speed, you will see noticeable change. At the end of the day, when they do these things like this, they want to see changes with the consumer spending to actually see how the inflation is going to be affected. Now, a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people got their money in the stock market. My mom called me the other day. She said, "Look, I went to the bank. The bank looked at my CD. My mom's old, right? She's an older woman. And she's telling me at the end of the day, the guy was trying to tell her it's a bad deal, it's a bad deal. I said, go talk to the branch manager. Oh, he was the manager. He wanted to put her money into some type of portfolio mix. I would tell people this. If you're doing anything like that, at that type of age, 70, 80s, or whatever, don't do it. Just keep your money in the CD. The reason being, with the interest rates going up, so will those CDs. What you should do is go shop around with other banks, whether you do it online, whether you go to Fidelity, whether you just go to your local bank, shop around for CDs and bonds that's offering higher interest rates, right? You want to get that. That guy who she was talking to is just talking crazy to her because honestly, when she wanted to get more information, he talking about he didn't know. And I mean, it's basic 101. They're going to increase the interest rates. Your savings accounts will go up. They're not a lot of money, but you know, my solution to this, if you are in your 30s, if you're in your 40s, or even in your 20s, and you're looking to get extra money, the best way you can do that is to have something that's going to generate a lot of money in a short amount of time. Now, will it require risk? Yes. Will it require you to sacrifice some of your money? Sir, perhaps. What I did is do the income of my cars. I used 2 vehicles. I placed them onto a veil. Those vehicles yield to me about not between $900 to $1,200 every month. It's higher than any type of interest rate that you're gonna get off of your savings account, right? The other thing I looked into was ATMs. People out here use ATMs like it's going out of style in Bahrain. A lot of people are ATMs going out in the United States. No, they're not. They're building up. And people tell you that they don't know what they're talking about. Have them show you where everyone's just taking Cash App. Because I'm going to tell you also with Cash App, they're charging people additional W-9 on their returns, right? So if, for example, you work at a barbershop or you work at a salon, so I do Cash App. Cash App is now reporting those transactions and they're issuing out W-9s to people who are sending money over and over and over, because at the end of the day, a W-9 will be sent over. And a lot of people are like, damn, I'm not trying to pay extra taxes on this little thing I'm doing. That's where the cash machine comes into play. Because with cash, you unless you write a receipt saying, here's a receipt, here it goes, you're not going to be in a situation where you're like, I don't know what we're going to do here. Additionally, with interest rates going up, as I talked about earlier, you're looking at housing. People are not going to be able to afford housing. That's the first major thing that you're going to see. People are not going to be able to sell those homes like they used to for the price that they want to get. They're going to have to sell it at a lower rate. Now, you can have the power to sell them, more power to you. But if you got to sell it, you're going to sell it. This is a great time for people to start doing Airbnb. If you can get a purchase of a home at a low rate versus the market rate of what's going on right now, or you can get something that people don't want to have and you get rehabilitate, or work at an apartment complex or talking to them and seeing, hey, I want to do corporate leasing, this is the best time. A lot of people are going to be hurting. I would tell you this, it's going to be painful. In an article I was reading, it's going to be painful before it gets better. And it's critical for everyone to understand where that's coming from. Because if you don't understand that, you're going to be left in the dust. And you don't want to be left in the dust when it comes to your finances, when it comes to financial literature, when it comes to building for tomorrow, for not just for you, but for your family. And it's critical that you take this time to look at what's around you. The news is not going to tell you everything that's going on. They're not going to tell you directly, hey, this is the impact with Russia. This is the impact with the interest rate. Right now, people are fighting over the things that's going on in Congress with the situation with the Supreme Court decision. You can look that up another time because we're focusing on the economy. What people are not focusing on is how these impacts are affecting their everyday lives, or how it will affect their everyday lives. So it's critical for you to follow along and make sure you do that. Now, if you're looking to get more information from me about more details about how this interest rate is going to affect us, what the situation is going to continue like with Russia, with them defaulting, how the United States is going to look by the end of the year, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Drop your comments down below. Like, share. Make sure you subscribe. Again, make sure you subscribe to this channel. There's going to be more content coming to you on a regular basis. There's also a few links if you're looking to start your business on your own without dealing with the headaches, without dealing with the nonsense, just using your Facebook profile. I have a link down below in the description. And if you're looking to automate your Facebook friends list, where you can turn your friends into leads that potentially buy from you, meaning that you're adding people with an automation software, I have that for you too to try out for free. I'll let you know, guys. I'm here to give you the knowledge. I'm here to let you know what I'm seeing and what they're not telling you on the news. Again, guys, my name is Mr. Luke Evan Brooks, Passive Income Central. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. Take care now. Talk to you later.